Assalamu alaikum. My name is Dr. Ikra Mushtaq. The topic of my lecture is vector-borne disease. I hope you all are taking care of yourself and your loved ones. Now let us study our topic. Okay, vector-borne diseases. For that, we should know what is vector. Vector is an arthropod or other invertebrate which transmits infection by inoculation into or through the skin or mucous membrane by biting or by deposit of the infective materials on the skins or on the food or other objects. The period of the time necessary for the development of disease agent in the arthropod host is called extrinsic incubation period. Right, for example, the extrinsic incubation period in malaria and filaria are from 10 to 14 days or longer depending upon the environmental temperature. The host in which the sexual cycle of the agent occurs is called definitive host. For example, mosquito is the definitive host in malaria. The host in which asexual cycle of the agent occurs is called the intermediate host. For example, mosquito in filaria and cyclops in guinea worm disease. Right? Now, let's study. Now let's study arthropods of medical importance as I have written class Insecta, class Arachnida and class Crustacea. In class Insecta, the most important are mosquitoes, Anopheles, Culesses, flies, houseflies, sandflies, tsetse flies, black flies, human lice, head and body lice, crab lice, fleas, rat fleas, sand fleas, right? In Arachnida class, it's ticks, hard ticks, soft ticks, mites, itch mites. This is the Leptotrombidium and trombiculid mites. Next is the Crustacea class. It includes the cyclops, right? Now, as we have studied what is the vector, we should know the diseases which are caused by these vectors. Okay, mosquito, it causes the malaria, filaria, the viral encephalitis, viral fevers, West Nile fever, viral hemorrhagic fever. Housefly, it causes typhoid, paratyphoid, diarrhea, dysentery, cholera, gastroenteritis, amoebiasis, right? Sandfly, Kala-Azar, oriental sore, sandfly fever, tsetse fly, sleeping sickness, louse, epidemic typhus, relapsing fever, rat flea, bubonic plague, epidemic typhus, shigellosis, black fly on onchocerciasis, then the heart tick, tick typhus, viral encephalitis, and viral hemorrhagic fever, tularemia. Soft tick causes the Q fever, relapsing fever, itch mites, scabies. Right, there are a lot of them you can study in your book. Now let us study the transmission method of arthropod borne diseases. There are three transmission cycles: direct spread, direct contact. In this method, arthropod, they are directly in contact and transferred from man to man through close contact. For example, scabies and pediculosis. Uh, Next is the mechanical transmission. Disease agent is transmitted mechanically by the arthropod. Transmission of diarrhea, dysentery, typhoid by the housefly. It's the example. Next is the biological transmission where the disease agent multiplies or undergoes some changes in the host. It's called biological transmission. It is further divided into three types: propagative, जिसमें डिजीज एजेंट इट अंडरगोज नो साइक्लिकल, कोई साइक्लिकल चेंज नहीं होती, बट मल्टीप्लाइज इन द बॉडी ऑफ द वेक्टर. ट्रांसमिशन इज सेड टू बी प्रोपगेटिव. फॉर एग्जाम्पल, plague bacilli in rat fleas. Next is the cyclopropagative. The disease agent, it undergoes cyclical change as the name suggests and multiplies in the body of the arthropod. For example, malarial parasite in Anopheles mosquito. Next is the cyclodevelopmental, when the disease agent undergoes cyclical change but does not multiply in the body of the arthropod. For example, filarial parasite in Culex mosquito. Mosquito constitute the most important single family of insects from the standpoint of human health. The body of the mosquito, it consists of three parts: head, thorax, and abdomen. The head is semi-globular. It has the following structures: pair of large compound eyes, needle-like structure called proboscis, with which mosquito bites, a pair of palpi, each a four-jointed structure, and a pair of antennae. Thorax have a pair of wings, three pairs of legs, right? And abdomen have the 10 segments, the last two which modified to form the external genitalia. There are four stages in the life history of the mosquito: egg, larva, pupa, and adult. Eggs, they are laid on the surface of the water 100 to 250 at a time. Anopheles lay egg singly. Okay, under the favorable conditions, the egg stage, they last for 1 to 2 days. Gonotrophic cycle is about 48 hours in hot areas. The larva, it is a free swimming creature with elongated body. It feeds on algae, bacteria, and vegetable matter. Next is the pupa. The pupa is a common shape in appearance, with a large rounded cephalothorax and a narrow abdomen. The pupa, it represents the resting stage in the life history of the mosquito. Next is the adult. When the pupil skin splits along the back, and the adult mosquito, it will emerge out. And under the favorable conditions of the temperature and the food supply, the life cycle from the egg to the adult is complete in 7 to 10 days. Okay, let's study the difference between the Anopheles and Culex, Aedes, and Mansonia. Eggs in Anopheles, it lays eggs singly. Its eggs are boat-shaped and provided with the lateral floats, whereas the other species, they lay it in clusters or rafts, each raft containing 100 to 250 eggs, and their eggs are oval-shaped and not provided with lateral floats. Their larvae, they rest parallel to the water surface, no siphon tube, whereas in other species, the larvae, they are suspended with head downward at an angle to the water surface. Okay, the pupae siphon tube is broad and short in Anopheles, whereas it is long and narrow in other species. Adults, which are when at rest inclined at an angle to surface, wing spotted. Palpi, they are long in both sexes, whereas in other species, when at rest, the body exhibits a hunchback, right? Wings unspotted. The palpi, there are short in the female. Okay, Anopheles, the diseases it transmits is Anopheles, it transmits malaria and filaria. Culex, it transmits Japanese encephalitis, West Nile fever, excuse me, viral arthritis. While as Aedes, it transmits yellow fever, dengue hemorrhagic fever, chikungunya fever, right, Rift Valley fever, and the Mensonites, they transmit the Malayan filariasis or chikungunya fever. Let's come to the most important topic. It's the mosquito control measures. How can we control it? There are three categories: anti-larval measures, anti-adult measures, protection against the mosquito bites. Okay, detail has been written into your books. In your books, you can review it later. Okay, the anti-larval measures, their environmental control. Environmental control is to control their breeding places. Okay, this is known as source reduction, and comprises minor engineering methods such as filling, leveling, and drainage of the breeding places, and water management. Source reduction requires an accurate knowledge of the breeding habits of the mosquitoes. Okay, the next is the chemical control. It uses larvicides, which are mineral oils, paracrine, synthetic insecticides, right? In synthetic insecticides, we use the phentoin, chlorpyrifos, and abate. The next is the biological control. Biological control is a wide range. In it, wide range of small fish feed readily on the mosquito larvae. They are used. The best known are the Gambusia affinis. Okay, the next is anti-adult measures, in which the residual sprays of DDT, they are used. Next is the space sprays. Space sprays, they are those where the insecticidal formulation is sprayed into the atmosphere in the form of a mist or a fog to kill the insect. The common sprays are pyrethrum extract, and residual insecticides. Okay. Next is genetic control. In recent years, control of the mosquitoes by genetic methods such as sterile male technique, cytoplasmic incompatibility, chromosomal translocations, they have been explored. Next is the protection against the mosquito bites. We use mosquito net, screening, repellents, to be abstained from the mosquito bites. In repellents, we use diethyltoluamide. Also, we can use the indolone, dimethyl phthalate, and dimethyl carbate. Right? Okay, houseflies, they are the commonest and most familiar of all the insects which live close to the man. M. domestica, it's a mouse, gray in color. The body, it is divided into head, thorax and abdomen. The head, it bears a pair of antennae and a pair of large compound eyes and the retractile proboscis, which is adapted for for sucking the liquid foods. Thorax, which is marked with 2 to 4 dark longitudinal stripes. Thorax bear a pair of wings and 3 pairs of legs. And abdomen, which is segmented and shows the light and dark markings. Okay, the habits, let's study its habits also. The habits of the housefly, it may make it eminently suited for spread of the disease. Breeding habits, the most important breeding places of the flies is in order of the importance. They are fresh horse manure, human excreta, manure of other animals, garbage. Okay, next is the feeding habits. Housefly doesn't bite. It is attracted to the food by its sense of smell. It cannot eat solid foods. It just vomit on the solid foods to make a solution of it and sucks it in a liquid state. It sounds very ugly to just even imagine that. Okay, the nest is the restless nest. The fly, it is a restless insect and moves back and forth between the food and the filth. Vomit drop, the fly vomits frequently. The vomit drop is often a culture of disease agents. Defecation, its habit is resting habits. The flies, they have a tendency to rest on a vertical surfaces and hanging objects. Right. Next is its transmission. It is transmitted mechanically through a vomit drop and a defecation. Mechanically, they are exceptionally efficient mechanical spreaders. They transport microorganisms on their feet and hairy legs. Okay, how can we control it? The best way to control the housefly is to eliminate their breeding places and to bring about an overall improvement in the environment sanitation. On a community-wide basis, this in fact implies what the following: storing garbages, kitchen waste, and other refuse. Efficient collection, removal, and disposal of the refuse by incineration. Provision of the sanitary latrines, stopping open-air defecation, sanitary disposal of animal excreta, stepping up general sanitation. And the next step is by insecticidal spray, residual sprays, DDTs, methoxychlor, chloridane. Okay, baits they may be solid or liquid. It's poison baits, they are prepared for it. Next is cord and ribbons, cords and strips impregnated with the diazinon, phenthone. They have been tried with success. Sprays containing pyrethene, DDT, HCH. They are available commercially. Larvicides, insecticides such as 0.5 diazone, dichlorvos. They 1% Ronal applied at the rate of 28 to 56 liter per 100 square meter. They have been used for the treatment of the fly breeding places. Fly papers, sticky fly papers, they are useful to other methods of control also. These papers, they can be easily made by mixing 2 pounds of resin and 1 pint of castor oil, which should be heated together until the mixture is ready. This should be smeared on the paper by using a paint brush, The adhesive mixture can also be applied to the strips of wire and hung up in places where the flies abound. Okay, protection against the flies, screening of the houses, hospitals, food markets, restaurants, and all other similar will give considerable relief. Health education, fly consciousness, it should be spread among the people, right, to get rid of it. Okay, the sandflies, they are small insects, light or dark brown in color. They are smaller than the mosquitoes, measuring 1.5 to 2.5 millimeter. The important ones are Phlebotomus argentipes, P. papataceae, P. sargenti, right? Okay, general character, it has head, thorax, and abdomen. Head bears a pair of long, slender, and hairy antennae, palpi and proboscis. Only the females bite, the male live on the vegetable juices. The thorax bear a pair of wings and 3 pairs of legs. The abdomen, it has 10 segments and it's covered with hair. Okay, sandflies, they may be distinguished from the mosquitoes by the following characteristics. As you can see, size, sandflies, they are smaller than mosquitoes. The wings of the sandfly, they are upright and lanceolate in shape. The second longitudinal vein branches twice. The first branching take place in the middle of the wing. So basically, you should know the wings. The wings of the sandfly, they are upright and lanceolate. The legs of the sandflies, they are longer and compared with the size of the body. Sandfly is hairy insect. Sandflies hop about and do not fly by choice. Okay, the diseases which are transmitted by the sandflies are Kala Azar, sandfly, and oriental sore. How can we control them? We can control through insecticide, whether DDT or if it's there is a resistance present, so Lintane can use. The sanitation measures such as removal of the shrubs and vegetation within the 50 yards of human dwellings, also filling up the cracks and crevices in the walls and floors. Now we come to the CC fly. Uh, CC fly or a blood-sucking fly, which present a general resemblance to a common house fly. They're yellow, dark brown in color, and measure about half an inch long. Their wings, when folded, they overlap each other like the blades of a scissor. They have a proboscis which is rigid and non-retractile and adapted for piercing the skin and sucking the blood. Okay. Uh, it's found in majorly found in African uh, continent region infested with CC flies. They're called the fly bells. Right? Its life history is somewhat abnormal. Female does not lay eggs, but gives birth to a living larva, one at a time, at 10-day interval. Soon after the birth, the larva crawls away to a suitable place and buries itself in earth. Uh, uh, the pupal stage, it lasts for 20 to 40 days. At the end of the pupal stage, the adult fly emerges. So the CC lives less than 100 days. Okay, how can we control the CC fly? CC fly can be controlled by insecticides. Resistance to insecticide has not been reported. At present, DDT, dieldrin, they are the most commonly used pesticide for CC fly. Next is the clearing of the vegetation. Clearing of the vegetation where the CC fly live and breed, it should be cleared. Genetic control. Currently, the genetic control method is under the research. Fleas, which are small, bilaterally compressed wingless insects with a hard chitinous exoskeleton and covered with backwardly directed long, strong bristles. Type of fleas: rat fleas, human fleas, dog and cat fleas, sand fleas. The rat fleas, they are of greatest importance because they are vectors of plague and typhus. The rat fleas, it has head, thorax, and abdomen. Head is conical in shape. The head bears short, piercing mouth part, which are conspicuous and project downwards from the head. Thorax, it has 3 segments: prothorax, mesothorax, and metathorax. Abdomen, abdomen have 10 segments. means a life history. It has four stages in the history of life. Eggs, larva, pupa, adults. Eggs, there are zero point 0.5 millimeter. They are ovoid. They are white in color. Larvae, there are legless caterpillars, whitish in color and bear sparse long hair on their body. Pupa, which develop inside the cocoon. Pupal stage, it lasts for 1 to 2 weeks, and then it leads to the stage which is adult stage. Okay, the habits. Fleas, they are found on the normal host and in the nest, burrows and layers of their host. They are found in the dwellings or on the ground, in cracks and crevices. Okay, fleas are passively transported by their hosts, transport vehicles, and humans. Okay, fleas indices. The following indices they are used in the flea service: general flea index, specific flea index, percentage index of flea species, and rodent infestation rate. Right? They do not in themselves indicate an imminent plague epidemic, but flea indices serve as useful indicators of the potential explosiveness of the situation. Should a plague outbreak occur in endemic areas, specific flea indices they are more significant than our overall flea indices. Okay. Fleas, they are known to transmit the following diseases: plague, endemic or murine typhus, shigellosis. Mode of transmission is by biting. Uh, biting. In the case of the plague, it is by the bite of hungry, blocked fleas. Some fleas which ingest the plague bacilli, they become blocked due to the multiplication of plague bacilli in their stomach. Flea affected in this way, they are called blocked fleas. The blockage of the food passage renders the flea unable to obtain further blood feeds. Because of the hunger, the flea begins to bite more ferociously and make the frantic effort to suck the blood. Each time it bites, instead of sucking the blood, it injects the plague bacilli into the wounds. Such blocked fleas play a great role in spread of the plague. The second transmission mode is mechanical transmission. It takes place from the proboscis of the flea. Third is the feces. The fleas, they are apt to defecate while feeding. Right. Next, the control is insecticidal control, which can be achieved by DDT, dieldrin 8CH. And the next is the repellents. Diethyltulamide is an efficient flea repellent. The next is the rodent control. Flea control should be followed by the rodent control. Okay, the next vector are ticks and mites. Ticks, there are two kind of ticks, soft ticks and hard ticks. I have tabulated the difference between both of them. As you can see, in a hard tick, the scutum, which is a shield or a cover, it covers the entire back in the males, while a small portion in front in females. Whereas in soft tick, the shield is absent. Okay, in the head, it is situated at the interior end in a hard tick, while it lies ventrally, not seen from above in the soft ticks. Okay, regarding the eggs, hard ticks, there are several hundred or thousand eggs laid at one sitting in hard ticks. While in the soft ticks they laid only 2200 batches over a long period. The nymphal stage, hard tick, they have just one nymphal stage, and soft tick, they have five nymphal stage. Regarding the habits, hard tick, they cannot stand the starvation. They feed night and day, while the soft ticks, they can stand this starvation for a year or more. Diseases transmitted by both of them are: hard tick, they transmit tick typhus, viral encephalitis, hemorrhagic fever, tularemia, tick paralysis, while as soft tick, it transmits the disease relapsing fever. Now, how can we control the tick and mites infestation? We can have insecticidal control, environmental control, and the protection of our workers. Insecticidal control, we can use DDT, chlordane, dieldrin, lindane, and malathion as insecticide. In environmental control, we can fill up the cracks and services in the ground. In protection of the workers, we should emphasize our workers to wear protective clothing, and they should apply repellents upon the clothes. The best repellents used on the clothing are indolone diethyltoluamide and benzyl benzoate. Further, workers working in infested area, they should examine themselves before and after the working hours. Okay, the next topic is the H. mite, which is also known as Sarcoptes cebi. It is an extremely small globular arthropod, just visible to the naked eye. The female parasite burrows into the epidermis where it breeds and causes the condition known as scabies or itch. Okay, the species of genus Sarcoptes also infect the animals such as dog, cattle, and horse. The human Acarus or the human Sarcoptes is morphologically indistinguishable from the animal variety, but it is quite distinct physiologically. Therefore, animal scabies cannot flourish on the human skin. Okay, size of the Sarcoptes is 0.4 millimeter as it is written. It is tortoise in shape, rounded above and flattened below. The body has no demarcation into the thorax or abdomen, and its body surface is thrown into folds and is covered with short bristles. The parasite has two pair of legs in front, as you can see in the picture, and two pairs behind. The front legs end in long tubular processes known as suckers, and hind legs they end in a long bristles. The male has suckers on all the legs except the third part, which distinguish it from the female. Okay, now we study its history. Its life history, it consists of 4 stages: eggs, larva, nymphs, and adults. And also its mode of spread, it's through the close contact and the contaminated clothes. The close contact scabies is transmitted by close contact, as I told, with an infected or infested person. This is often due to sleeping in the same bed or by children playing with each other or nursing an infested person. Okay, the mode of transmission is contaminated clothes. Through the contaminated clothes, the disease may be acquired sometimes from contaminated clothes and the bed linen. Okay, what are the sites of lesion? Sites of lesion, as I have written, it's 63%, meaning its majority of the site of the lesion is hand and the wrist. Next to the extensor aspect of the elbows, it's being 10.9%. The axillae, buttocks, lower abdomen, feet, ankles, palms in infants, they are all the common sites of infestation. The disease, it also affects the breast in the woman and genitals in men. Okay, as this scabies disease or infestation of an H. mite, it's really common. So you should learn it properly and you should know how to treat it. Okay, now we move to the diagnosis of the scabies. How we will diagnose the case of scabies? It's by the patient complains of itching, which is worse at night, and also by the examination, which reveals the follicular lesions at the affected site. Thirdly, secondary infection leads to the crusted papules and pustules. Diagnosis is probable if the other members of the household, they are also affected. And lastly, confirmation of the diagnosis may be made by searching for the parasite in the skin debris under the microscope. This is the criteria to diagnose the Sarcoptes cebi. Okay, how can we control it? It is essential to treat all the members of the affected household household simultaneously, whether or not they appear to be infested. Right before commencing the treatment, the patient is given a good scrub with soap and hot water. Okay, these are the solutions which I have mentioned. 4 solutions: benzyl benzoate, HCH, lindane, in coconut oil, tetmosol, and sulfur ointment. These 4 solutions, they are required to be prepared in water or coconut oil or any other medium to be applied on the skin. Okay, the first one is more common. It's the benzyl benzoate. Benzyl benzoate, 25% of it. It is an effective sarcopticide. It should be applied with a paintbrush or shaving brush to every inch of the body below the chin, including the soles of the feet, and allowed to dry. Okay, in the case of the babies, the head must also be treated. Okay, the application should be repeated after 12 hours, and after a further 12 hours, a bath given, and all the underclothes, clothes, and sheets, they should be changed and washed. Not more than 2 applications of benzyl benzoate should be given per week, as excessive use can cause irritant dermatitis. Okay. Thank you so much, student. It was a lengthy topic, but we have to study everything. So if you have any question, you can put me in the comment. Thank you so much.